Chapter 15: Science, Magic, and Religion Compared. Now that I have set the stage, let's compare the values of science, religion, and magic and look at the differences in what they're trying to achieve. Science is concerned with measuring quantities in the world in order that predictions can be made with the best possible certainty. It is utilitarian and pragmatic, interested in what can be achieved and repeated. In itself, science has no inherent morality except for one single faith-based value, that it is always better to find more stuff out. This may seem a given to some people, but the unbridled pursuit of knowledge is not a value that is always shared by religions, where certain inquiries may be considered unhealthy or immoral. Outside of this value, science may give data that informs morality, but it is itself morally neutral. Like religion, science builds models and cosmologies. These cosmologies are built to be explanatory and to help future predictions. Science has a few built-in limitations. It cannot form strong conclusions from one-off events. Certainty in science comes from being able to get the same results in repeated tests. In comparison, miracles, which are extraordinarily meaningful, rare events, are given a special value in religion. Science also has trouble getting results from personal experience. Individual subjectivity does not hold much scientific value as data, for the simple reason that this type of experience is very hard to measure. Shared subjective experiences are a little better, but are still not favored over that which is precisely measurable: objectivity. This is where science differs the most from religion and magic, which both value shared subjectivity foremost. Science strives towards objectivity. True scientists, however, understand that objectivity is a goal and not a destination. Scientists are merely human beings, and human perceptions and sense-making generally offer imperfect models of reality. So science must make pains to test and measure and use logic and logical instruments, such as computers, to make sure that the data are as precise as possible. The term religion, which comes from the Latin religio, has etymological ties to the term ligature and ligament, relating to the concept to bind. Religion is, in a sense, that which binds groups of people into communities through common doctrine or belief. Religions are, by this definition, group-focused. Religion discusses mankind's subjective experiences and morality and tries to explain how these inform our place in the universe. It is chiefly concerned with meaning and makes a strong use of narrative and symbolism. Scientific testing has little use for symbolism, though it is by necessity used a lot in science education. Religion tries to direct people towards what it deems moral and righteous, and away from what it deems harmful. Most often, the needs of the group are put ahead of the needs of the individual. In contrast to science, religion values revelation. As we have discussed earlier, scientific hypotheses are sometimes informed by revelation, but even so, scientists are generally loath to formally document these experiences for fear of ridicule. Magic shares the experimental nature of science and the interest in meaning and symbolism of religion. Like science, it is not a moral system in of itself, but a utilitarian one. The goal is to be able to cause change in the world, and this is especially done by affecting human perception. Unlike science, which seeks to remove illusion, the use of trickery is foundational to magic. Anything goes in magic as long as it works. Magic will keep anything that works, regardless of whether or not it can be explained. Explanations in magic are only directions for doing, not objective truths. Magic shares with religion that it works primarily on the subjective and personal level. For this reason, it also frequently deals in narratives and symbols. Unlike the group focus in religion, magic as a pursuit is directed by individuals and very often for individuals. For this reason, though religions are usually started by magicians, magicians are often held in suspicion by religions once they are established. Nobody threatens the rules that structure a religion more than a magician. They are, after all, inclined to mess with the rules just to see what will happen. All religions contain magic. Rituals, prayers, invocations, and other manipulations of conscious states all fit into the definition of magic we have been working with in this book. Many religions are suspicious of magic that is too playful, sacrilegious, or irreverent, as it can quickly undo the faith in the rituals that the religious communities rely on. Magic, be it stage magic or the occult, is very attractive to those who want to subvert common beliefs about what can and can't be done, and in many cases, about what should and should not be done. Science and religion can coexist, where religion sticks primarily to the subjective, moral, and symbolic, and science sticks to the utilitarian and objective. We have no working universal cosmology, no unified model that explains everything. For this reason, we are forced to operate under more than one belief system, as I have discussed in Chapter 10. Religion requires magic in order to create sacred experiences. Therefore, magic provides us an interesting vantage point by which to regard religion. Science necessarily has to exclude faith from scientific method, whereas magic and religion are free to harness it. Scientific discoveries can cause tension with religious cosmologies when religions have become too materialistic. Magic has the profound ability to fool people, which, when done overtly, such as in the case of stage magic, can be beneficial. Magic can, however, be used to scam, manipulate, and obscure. It is for these reasons that many fans of science devalue or even berate magic. Religion and science came to challenge each other further when Christian fundamentalism began using the Bible to make objective claims about reality, such as calculating the age of the universe. This was in retaliation to the previously discussed anti-theistic claims that science and religion have been in conflict throughout history. See Chapter 13. Both fundamentalism and anti-theism are more modern ideologies than they usually claim themselves to be. Both sides use strawman arguments and aim for certainty in places where there is little to be found. This can only be achieved by blocking out all contradictory information. As such, the conflict thesis, which poses that religion and science have been at war throughout history, is a misrepresentation of science, known as scientism, just as fundamentalism is a misrepresentation of traditional Christianity. I will outline the origins of fundamentalism in Chapter 16. Magicians versus scientists. If one is to truly attempt to obtain an objective viewpoint, then it is crucial that one also study the ways in which one can be fooled. If you don't understand the ways in which you can be deceived, then how can you be certain you aren't being deceived? In this way, magic can help scientists to form better experiments. A fun historical example of magicians tricking scientists can be found in Project Alpha, a magical hoax which began in 1979 and continued for nearly 3 years. Orchestrated by the stage magician and celebrity skeptic James Randi, 2 trained stage magicians were planted into a scientific experiment testing psychic phenomena, psi, at Washington University. The 2 magicians, teenagers Steve Shore, better known as Banachek, and Michael Edwards, used tricks involving spoon bending, moving objects in sealed globes, manipulating electronic clocks, and making images appear on photographic film to fool scientists into believing they had telekinetic powers. After over a year of testing, the laboratory was ready to present its findings at a parapsychology meeting in Syracuse in August 1981. Eventually, the 2 young men and Randy publicly embarrassed the lab by revealing they had been cheating using sleight of hand and other tricks. Scientists are biased towards looking for the same results over and over, and this tendency left them wide open. Stage magicians, when talking shop, frequently mention the importance of learning how to perform a single trick in multiple ways. Various techniques will be learned to perform the same magic trick, and each of these must be made to look as similar as possible. In this way, a magician can watch to see if their mark is catching on to the trick, and if so, conceal their methods by performing the same trick in a totally different way. This will often cause the mark to let go of their initial idea about how a trick is done, even when it happens to be correct. It simply doesn't occur to most people that the magician may be switching methods. This was how Shore and Edwards fooled the Washington University scientists. Perhaps every scientist should be taught a little stage magic theory in order to avoid being fooled by pesky magicians. Biologists who categorize species must beware of mimics, such as stick insects, and perhaps deception ought to be also a basic assumption for other types of scientists who are trying to understand a universe which is sometimes loath to reveal its secrets. If you have enjoyed this content, please like, subscribe, and share. And if you would like to purchase a copy of my book, the details for doing so are in the video description.